Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that said, and shalom to you few Salakia, and shalom to you few brothers and sisters that watch my videos and gain edification or useful knowledge in this truth and heed the warning. All right. So this is an old article. It's about a week old, but the Spirit led me to some other useful information, and it says breaking news: no immigrant can remit money back to their own country. All right, so I'm gonna play the video, and I'm gonna try to make this as edifying as possible. Lord's will.
Starting tomorrow, June 20th, no immigrant will be able to send money to their countries of origin. If you do not have legal immigration status, you can't send a single dollar home. This isn't a warning, it's happening. Now the Remittance Control Act kicks in tomorrow morning, blocking all money transfers without valid U.S. documentation. Trump declared during his announcement, illegal immigrants have been draining $150 billion annually from our economy. That ends tomorrow. The numbers are staggering. 42 million immigrants send money overseas, supporting 800 million family members globally. Western Union, MoneyGram, Zelle, all blocked without a real ID or valid social security number. You're cut off completely. Banks must verify legal status before any transfer violators face $10,000 fines per transaction money. Transfer businesses risk losing their licenses. Families in Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador are about to lose their only lifeline. Even supporters are calling this extreme. This isn't just policy, it's personal. Starting tomorrow, June.
So there you have it. Trump is targeting Jake. All right, he's targeting Jake, illegal migrants, the Northern Kingdom, Levites, whatever have you. He's targeting the tribes. All right, so this is a direct attack on Jake. All right, so he's targeting their finances because a lot of Jakes who have families in other countries, they come here and they send money back to their country to help support their children, build homes, start businesses in their other countries. Because I know a lot of Jakes who live here who also have homes, they have families, other children in other countries, the country that they're coming from, that they left. So Trump is directly attacking these individuals who have family members or family members or loved ones that they're supporting in other countries. This is a direct attack on Jake. All right, and he's hitting them where it hurts. So I found some articles to go into. So let's see. Immigrants can't send money home from the U.S. No viral news report is fake. It's not fake. All right? A purported USA News report has gone viral claiming U.S. President Donald Trump has announced no immigrant can remit money back to their own country. The archived version of this post can be seen here. So, starting tomorrow, June 20th, no immigrant can be able to send money to their country's origin if you do not have legal immigration status. You can't send a single dollar home. This isn't a warning. It's happening now. Remittance Control Act kicks in tomorrow morning, blocking all money transfers without U.S. documentation. Trump declared during his announcement illegal immigrants have been draining 150 million annually from our economy. That ends tomorrow. The numbers are staggering. 42 million immigrants send money overseas, supporting 800 million family members globally. Western Union money all blocked. Without a real ID or valid social security number, you're cut off completely. All right. So this is one way of you know, it's a big squeeze, if you will. All right. This is a big squeeze. And what do? You squeeze a pimple or you squeeze something, a toothpaste tube, in order to get something out, end result, outcome. All right, and the outcome is the C hip. All right, the charagma. That's the outcome. All right, he's squeezing everybody, putting pressure. It's applied pressure. That's what Trump is doing. All right, he's dressing it up, making it look like something else, but that's what it is. All right, and those are, and I speak as a man, but I feel like those are the people who are going to be the first ones to be C-hipped. All right, if they don't die first. All right, but those are the ones that's going to be C-hipped. Why? Because you know, desperate times calls for desperate measures. So those people are going to be so desperate that they're going to go along with it, because they're going to continue wanting to send, their loved ones are going to be calling them saying, hey, what's going on? What's happening? Uh, you know, we didn't get any money. Is everything okay? They're going to be calling. They're going to be whatever, emailing, texting, whatever, trying to FaceTime, Zoom, WhatsApp. They're going to be trying to contact their loved ones, and they're going to say, hey, the money stopped. What's going on? Because as soon as the money stops, that's when, someone takes notice. So that ends tomorrow. The numbers are staggering. 42 million immigrants send money overseas, supporting 800 million family members globally. Western Union money all blocked without real ID, Social Security. You're cut off completely. Banks must verify legal status before any transfer. Violators face $10,000 fines per transaction. Money transfer businesses risk losing their license. Families in Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador are about to lose their only lifeline. Even supporters are calling it extreme. This isn't just policy, it's personal. And uh that goes along with what that article was saying, that I just that news article was playing, that I was just playing. So I have another article to support this. This is AP. Funds from migrants sent back home help fuel some towns' economies. A GOP plan targets that. All right. So this is updated May 14th, 2025. So this is backtracking. So I'm going back. So this must have already happened. So Israel veils entire life in the small western Guatemala town of Cajola is built off the money that his three children sent home from the United States. The money from their construction jobs paid for their two-story white home where Vale now lives, and where his children are in the U.S. His children who are in the U.S. illegally would also reside if they ever get deported. Vale 53 invested some of the money in the opening of a local food shop, which he uses to keep his family afloat. In small migratory towns like Ahola, it is not unusual for the entire economy to be built off remittance, the funds sent by migrant workers back to their home countries. Even if this didn't happen, all right, let's say this didn't happen. This would have such a large effect on not just on a global scale, the economy, because you know how many migrants or immigrants are in this country illegally. The funds sent by a migrant worker back to their home countries. People here, they don't live luxurious, but they live off remittance, Val said. House Republicans have included in President Donald Trump's big priority bill a 5% excise tax on remittance transfers that would cover more than 40 million people, including they're trying to figure out a way to make money. Trump's 5% excise tax on remittance transfers that will cover more than 40 million people, including green card holders and non-immigrant visa holders, such as people on H-1B visas. So there's different type classes of visas. So all these people who hold these type of visas are gonna be affected. U.S. citizens will be exempt. So the only way you're gonna be exempt is if you have citizenship. All right. So I think that's it. I have another article as well. Uh, no, that's it with those articles. But I'm kind of jumping around. This resource provides daily updates from CWS. So bear with me. All right, so maybe that wasn't it. Salakia, there's some useful information in there though. This right here, Trump Trump okays using National Guard as immigration judges at Florida detention center. Protesters rallied against Florida's alligator Alcatraz during Trump and Governor DeSantis' visit to new state-run immigration detention center opening in the Everglades. Former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio expressed his support for President Donald Trump and Governor Ron DeSantis as they toured the new state-run immigration detention center opening in the Everglades. President Donald Trump said Tuesday he would, and this is July 1st, 2025. Okay, President Donald Trump said Thursday he would approve Florida's plan to expedite deportations by having qualified National Guard members work as immigration judges. Trump made the announcement during his visit to a new state-run immigration detention center in South Florida dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. For months now, Governor Ronald DeSantis has sought the approval of federal government to dispute Florida's National Guard judge, Advocate General Corps officer to act as immigration judge. On Tuesday, Trump said that in his favor of the plan, said that he is in favor of the plan. Okay. Unlike federal judges who work for the judicial branch and are independent of and work independent of the president, immigration judges work under the direction of the U.S. Attorney General. Because of the detention center is built on an old airstrip, DeSantis and others have said it will speed up the deportation process by allowing the federal government to fly migrants out of the site. So you can get deported there and flown out the country. spokesperson for the National Guard says not yet received formal word to begin training the judge advocates, but was standing by to provide support to the National Guard mission as needed and directed by Governor DeSantis. And then they're not breathing inside the chaos of ICE detention center calls uh, of chaos of ICE detention center 911 calls. Records of hundreds of emergency calls from ICE detention centers obtained by Wired, including audio recordings, show a system in, in un, inundated by life-threatening incidents, delayed treatment, and overcrowding. A nurse at the Aura Ice Process Center near Denver calls 911. A woman in custody, 4 months pregnant, had arrived at the facility medical, and this is April 28th. So this has been this uh, this detention center has been open since before that. So they have a lot of ICE detention centers that have been open. They never closed. A woman in custody, 4 months pregnant, had arrived at the facility medical unit, bleeding and in pain. As the staff rushed to get vitals, the dispatcher rattled off questions. How old was she? Was the pregnancy high risk? The nurse hesitated. She just came to us 3 days ago. It was just one incident in a spike of emergencies playing out inside immigration and customs enforcement detention centers nationwide. So they have nationwide detention centers just like this. A Wired investigation into 911 calls from 10 of the nation's largest immigration detention centers found that serious medical incidents are as many of the sites rising at many of the sites. The data obtained through public records requests show that at least 60% of the centers analyzed have reported serious pregnancy complications, suicide attempts, sexual assault allegations since January. These 10 facilities have collectively placed nearly 400 emergency calls. Nearly 50 of those have involved potential cardiac episodes, 26 referenced seizures, 17 reported head injuries, 7 calls described suicide attempts or self-harm incidents, overdoses, and hangings. 6 others involve allegations of sexual abuse, including at least one case logged as staff on detainee. So you think that you sitting up in one of these detention centers and this National Guardsman who's away from his wife or his family, or who doesn't have a wife, who doesn't have access to a woman. What do you think that's going? What do you think that's going to be? That's going to be, that person who's being detained is going to, they're going to abuse, they're going to grape that person. They're going to take it. Why? Because you don't have any legal status here. All right, and they're gonna just ship you out. So they're gonna grape you. They already feel like you lesser than them, that you don't belong here. With immigration attorney, local migrant activists, national policy experts, and individuals have been recently detained, family current in ICE custody. Their accounts echoed the data, a system overwhelmed and at times seemingly indifferent to medical crisis. So when it's like this detention center is most likely run like a prison. So when you go into prison, what they do? Strip you, take your clothes off, make delouse you or whatever. Make sure that you ain't got, seeing if you got any identifying marks, tattoos. Make you strip, spread your butt cheeks, lift up, Salakia for being graphic, but that's what they do to you in prison. Open your mouth. You think these men that's there because it's not going to be all women. A woman just has to be present. So you think these men aren't, you know what I'm saying, sitting there, sitting there and thinking about, you know what I'm saying, what to do to you or what to do to you. Even if you're pregnant, they're going to do something to you. Why? Because you can't get pregnant twice. You're going to wind up some man's sick fantasy. Experts believe the true number of medical emergencies is far higher. The records Wired review capture only the medical emergencies that result in 911 calls typically made by facility staff. Experts say many serious incidents likely to go unreported, citing years' worth of reports and independent medical reviews. Even among those that did prompt outside help, a third of all the calls have vague or non existent description, with details often withheld by authorities. For example, a woman identified herself as a detainee at Stewart Detention Center in Lumpkin, Georgia, called 911. Communication was strained. The dispatcher spoke no Spanish and the caller only a little English. I need help, the woman said. I need help, the woman said. Ayuda. The line goes abruptly dead. ICE detention facilities are operating over capacity. Detention has surged by more than 40% since January, pushing the detained population to over 59,000 on all-time high, according to available data. The 2025 emergency call reflects conditions before ICE's latest emergency surge in pursuit of its eventual goal of detaining 100,000 people. Simultaneously, the agency is targeting not just high priority criminal offenders, but those who report, check in, and otherwise follow the law. The result has stretched the detention system to its limit. ICE has responded by offloading detainees to federal penitentiaries and tent like barracks and detention camps while using a wave of no bid contracts, financial windfalls for private prisons giants like GEO Group and Core Civic, which operate the vast majority of facilities named in this report. The human cost of ICE strategy is increasingly visible. The places where urgent care delivery is often delayed falls on overworked staff. It is hindered by insufficient malfunctioning equipment. All right, you can read this article on your own. Yeah, you can read this on your own. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. This is Wired. It might be like it's like a small news agency or something like that, but it gave a lot of useful information. So I I googled this, and as of July 3rd, 2025, uh, the House of Representatives passed a large budget reconciliation bill with a vote of 218 to 214. The Senate previously passed a version of this bill, sending it back to the House for approval. Um, the bill, dubbed Big Beautiful Bill, includes a combination of tax cuts, increased spending, defense and border security, and cuts to social safety net programs. Regarding immigration, the bill contains provisions that expand funding for immigration detention and deportation. This includes significant increase in appropriations for border and interior enforcement with billions of allocation for immigration detention facilities and hiring additional ICE and Border Patrol agents. The legislation aims to supercharge immigration enforcement. Limit access to benefits for certain immigrants. It restricts eligibility for refugees and other humanitarian rivals to programs like Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP. Imposes fees for immigration benefits. The bill includes new or increased fees for various immigration applications and appeals such as asylum applications and waivers of inadmissibility. President Trump's plan. President Trump is reportedly planning to sign bill into law Friday, July 4th, potentially during a ceremony at the White House. In summary, as of July 3rd, 2025, the House passed a reconciliation bill that includes substantial increase in immigration enforcement funding and restricts eligibility for benefits for certain immigrants. President Trump Nero is expected to sign the bill into law July 4th. What happened, Esau? You not you not celebrating your own holiday? You working on the holiday? You trying to get that time and a half, that holiday pay. He a federal worker. He's entitled to the fourth off. That's a little joke. Salakia. I don't we don't celebrate holidays. Only righteous ones. Holy high holy days. Okay. Massive reconciliation bill poised to become law. Other humanitarian arrivals ineligible for essential benefits like Medicaid, Medicare. Congress approves unprecedented funding for mass deportation. What is the what's in the 2025 reconciliation bill so far? 3 days ago, the House passed a reconciliation bill by a 215 to 214 vote. Nearly a month later, the Senate passed its version. Budget bill massively increases funding for immigration detention. There you have it, folks. So uh, let's go to some scriptures. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. And these people, they go to Esau for help. You know what I'm saying? And it's a trap. But they don't look to the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They only look to Esau for help, the so-called white man. Isaiah 5:13. Therefore my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. The ox, Isaiah 1:3. The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel does not know, my people do not consider. All right? And I got some, you know, Salakia, the curses is undefeated. I feel like Prophecy, Salakia. Prophecy is undefeated. I said the curses, but you know what I mean. Prophecy is undefeated. Let me correct myself, clarify myself. Prophecy is undefeated. But if you refuse to listen to the Lord your power, this is Deuteronomy 28, let me call it out, and 15 in the NLT, because I just like the way it flows. But if you refuse to listen to the Lord your power and do not obey all the commands and the decrees I'm giving you today, all these curses will come and overwhelm you. All right? Wherever you go and whatever you do, you will be cursed. And that's going especially for the migrants, for the Jake migrants. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you will be cursed. All right? Jake thinks that they could flee from where they live at to come here to America, to Babylon the Great, spiritual Sodom, and be saved. But if you refuse to listen to the Lord, your power, and do not obey all the commandments, decrees I'm giving you today, all these curses will come and overwhelm you. And this is why Jake is in an effed up predicament, a fucked up predicament. Excuse my English, but they're in a jacked up situation, because Jake forgot about the Lord. Jake left the Lord. They gave up the Lord for so-called Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, and so forth and so on. All these false pagan doctrines. That's what Jake gave up the Lord for. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you will be cursed. The Lord, that's verse 19. Verse 20, the Lord himself will send on you curses, confusion, frustration, and everything you do until at last you are completely destroyed for doing evil and abandoning me. And that's what a lot of these migrants are doing. These Jakes, they out here, they partying, they doing evil, they selling drugs, transporting drugs, doing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not just talking about the ones that just work. I'm talking about the ones that do illegal stuff as well. They out here gang banging, whoring. These women out here whoring. They forgot about the Lord. Verse 36, the Lord will exile you and your king to a nation unknown to you and your ancestors. There in exile, you will worship gods of wood and stone. And that's what they do as soon as they get here. You know what I'm saying? Wherever they was at previously as well. I'm not going to say just when they get here. They was already brainwashed when they got here. "58. And if you refuse to obey all the words and instructions that are written in this book, if you do not fear the glorious and awesome name of the Lord, Yahweh, which is the Father, by Hashem, in the name of Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash, in the name of the Son, which his name is his only begotten Son, which his name is not Jesus, which means earth pig. His name is Yahweh Shai, which means deliverer, or he delivers. All right? By Hashem Rakak Wadash, which means Holy Spirit. Rakak is holy and spirit, Quadash. And 63, just as the Lord has found great pleasure in causing you to prosper and multiply, the Lord will find pleasure in destroying you. You will be torn from the land you are about to enter and occupy. So it reads, and Lord willing, I ain't messed that up, verse 58, but Salakia if I did. But let's go to verse 63. Just as the Lord has found great pleasure in causing you to prosper and multiply, the Lord will find pleasure in destroying you. So just as the Lord, this is in the curses, just as the Lord found pleasure in causing you to prosper, which was a lot of these migrants was doing. They came over here, they was living the best life. They was living their best life. They was prospering, they was getting money, sending it home, getting fat, doing well, filling their pockets. They had all the jobs, everything. The Lord will find pleasure. The Lord will find pleasure in destroying you. You will be torn from the land you are about to enter and occupy. And that's what's happening. A lot of these jakes is being torn from the land. They be putting in alligator Alcatraz. They be putting in detention centers all over the country, not just Florida. 65. There among those nations you will find no peace or place to rest, and the Lord will cause your heart to tremble and your eyesight to fail and your soul to despair. Your life among those nations you will find no peace or place to rest. What's going on right now? These jakes ain't finding no peace, no place to rest. They gotta move. They got an app. Salakia, they got an app. I meant to show you. Maybe that's what this article is right here for. Okay. Look, it reads NBC News app that allows people to share ICE sightings and gets a boost. App that allows people to share ICE sightings gets a boost in downloads after White House backlash. A new platform that encourages users to share information about sightings of immigration and customs enforcement agents nearby rose to the top of the Apple App Store this week amidst criticism from Trump administration officials who say app could put agents at risk. ICE Block, which was launched in April, made headlines after CNN article about it was called out by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and ICE acting Director Todd M. Lyons on Monday. Both cited concerns over agent safety in their statements about the app, stating agents are facing 500% increase in assaults. So this is their reason to get this app shut down. All right? But you got guns, you got badges. All right? So that's kind of like what happened in Brooklyn maybe. Is, ICE went to go, lock up some migrants, some Haitian refugees, and they got mobbed out. Them Haitians stood them Levites stood 10 toes down, Salakia. Them Haitians stood 10 toes down. Or Haitian if you Haitian. Shout out to all my Haitian brothers in the truth. Haitian. So let's go back to the article to the Deuteronomy. There among these nations you will find no peace or place to rest, and the Lord will cause your heart to tremble, your eyesight to fail, and your soul to despair. Your life will constantly hang in the balance. You will live night and day in fear, unsure if you will survive. Isn't that what they were saying? In Alligator Alcatraz, a lot of phone calls going out. 67, in the morning you will say, if only it were night, and in the evening you will say, if only it were morning. For you will be terrified by awful horrors you see around you. Didn't they say there was people bleeding, people having seizures, people hung, women having babies? I could just imagine high-risk pregnancies, women getting raped. Salakia, great. 68, the Lord will send you back into Egypt in ships to a destination I promise you will never see again. And that refers to the slave trade. But I just, you will offer yourselves to your enemies as slaves, but no one will buy you. I probably could have left that one out, but I feel like it was a good touch. So, Lord's will that you few brothers and sincere sisters have been edified. Shalom to the next one.